Hello, this is Sarah, your medium on the go, doing a pop up live tarot for our times. And today I'm going to be doing a longer spread on the pundits and polls. And I watched a little bit of that this morning, so you don't have to. And then I'm going to do a very quickie, probably only 3 card spread on the new British Prime Minister. So, a lot of what I've been saying is that it's really not a healthy thing mentally to be looking at about what the talking heads on TV are saying about the election, because they're kind of all gloom and doom, and I really hate to think of people thinking there's no point in going out to vote because there's not going to make any difference anyway. So what I want to do is I'm going to do a Celtic cross spread. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to the double screen yet, but I will be lifting the cards up as I go through this. And what I have to say is that this morning, when I turned on MSNBC and they were talking about the election, they were kind of talking about what I was saying at the beginning of the year, that it wasn't a foregone conclusion, and that the polls had the Republicans ahead of the Democrats by 1 point. So if you believe in that nonsense, it is pretty much in the margin of error. But, according to a lot of the people I have seen on YouTube, some very good tarot readers, along with Michael Moore, who has really called it right. He's saying there's a whole different ball game out there, and that we could possibly have a blue wave. But that is depending on if you go out and vote, and he is very strong in saying that. So part of my mission here is to maybe instead of going into election forecast, because there are a lot of really good people doing that right now, including Andre, the astrologer, who is looking at charts. And the one thing he's saying is that the month coming up of November and December at the end of the year looks very good for Biden, and it's getting worse for Trump. Or I should say 45. I think I'm going to go with some of these other people who say, don't even say his name and give him energy. So maybe the orange. I like Andre's, the orange cockroach and everything. Okay, so I've got the cards laid down. So really, I want to go into pretty much what we're hearing in the media and the polls, which I have said are very flawed. And I would advise you, I posted this on Facebook a few days ago. I would advise you to look up on YouTube about this time 6 years ago, when the people on, I think it's MSNBC and CNN, were saying that Trump was absolutely going, oh, there I go again. 45 was absolutely going to get creamed by Hillary in the election. And Michael Moore was the only one out there. He was the lone person in the forest saying that the opposite would have, well, not exactly the opposite, because he didn't really win by a landslide. So I want to say, I did a spread on what is underneath all of this and what's going on with this. And, what they have been very wrong in recent years. Maybe they need to redo their polling. So for the where they are at now, and the potential challenges. This is very interesting because we have the Seven of Swords in reverse, and to me, that's about the corrupt people who've been getting away with so many things. It's starting to in reverse. It's starting to end, and they're starting to get caught. And it is crossed with the challenge and the energy of the sun in reverse. And what this is telling me is that it's against it's kind of like non-intuitive to think that so many people have been ignoring what has been revealed and all of the things that are being uncovered, and that the sun in reverse is kind of like about keeping secrets, not being open, and kind of the dark side of things, and that maybe the news channels want in their commentary, and this is not reporting, this is highly editorial stuff, which I've said is a different ball game. So looking at the darker stuff and maybe buying into that sort of thing. Oh, hi, Marty. Good. It's good to see you. That it gets more people watching. I think I think what they're trying to do is maybe to cut into the gloom and doom without really giving it a lot of thought. So the third one is the subconscious level of all of this, and we have the six of swords in reverse, which is talking about not moving really forward, and this is really not moving forward in people getting sort of like better attitudes. And I would also say with swords, which represent thought and intellect, is discounting the fact of they're downplaying the abortion factor. And I think that's a big mistake to do that. So it's pretty much the polls and the pundits kind of want to keep us stuck in this sort of thing. And I guess in some way they feel as though they're going to get more viewership. So let's see. Is the past, and the root of this is the root of the issue in the past would be the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So much of this and I feel as though I have developed this new interpretation of Pentacles in reverse in this, in the past couple of years. As far as meaning instead of a lack of money, it's the corruption factor. And there is a little bit of corruption in that there are sponsors that need to be made happy. So I know a few of them are breaking out of the mold, like Rachel Maddow and her podcasts, a new podcast saying, we have been here before with the MAGA predecessors of the fifth column. We've gotten through this and we're going to get through it again. But I would say there is kind of a corruption and folding into sponsors and whatnot to do this. And I have heard other readers say the same thing. So the fifth thing is, let's see, the goals and ideas. So this is a card of poverty and not wanting to go for the help that is so close by. I see this as I'd rather be out in the cold than to be, than to lose my pride, that sort of thing. So this is kind of about not being able to see certain goals and ideals, and let's just stay out in the snow and give these very negative forecasts, that kind of a thing. So the near future is the Two of Cups, where I'm going to say, as much as I think is it about as good as it's get as they're going to say, is that the big red wave they've been talking about since the beginning of the year, and this is what I heard, is I think about as far as they're going to go in getting to the truth of the matter, or I just think they're maybe not looking in the right place. It's going to be a distance of, well, the polls are closing. The polls are closing, and it's not as certain. But then they say the polls are closing on Fetterman. I would imagine maybe a little bit, but I don't think as much as what they're saying. So we have the Two of Cups, and it's kind of coming to an agreement, but in this deck, they're still have a little bit of a distance between the two. So I'm feeling as though that in this instance, oh, hi, Sheila. Hi. Yeah, I'm glad to see you. I didn't think anyone would come because this was very last minute. So I would say that they may be moving a little bit more towards us, or towards the reality, because I mean, you see people coming out and voting, or early records. I mean, in record numbers, you see women and young people voting. I just don't see how this is going to be close. I mean, trending towards close, but we will see. Okay, so we have, I guess the suggested approach would be for us to, instead of looking at that, concentrating on all those cups that we get bombarded as half empty, that we take that whatever we can grasp on for hope to raise the vibration and get to people to vote is to look at the one element that this guy here is ignoring, that there actually is hope in this election, and to maybe not focus on the negative and maybe go through, focus on a little bit of the positive. So we got that. And the outside, oh, this is perfect for outside influences. We have got the Nine of Swords here. So this is the card of insomnia and worrying. And I know a lot of people have been worrying about this. And I really do feel that the powers that be feel as though if we keep the viewing public worried, then they're going to keep tuning in. But I'm going to say I feel as though it's having the opposite effect. Now, I said I watched this so you wouldn't have to. I could only take about 10 minutes of it before I switched to the BBC, because I wanted to get to the breaking story of the new prime minister, which we will get to momentarily. So we have then the hopes and the fears. And this is very interesting because, what I'm seeing is that this pretty much goes against, and some of them are still clinging to the thing, a Democratic president, the midterms have to turn to the opposing party. But since the Orange Menace got into office, it's kind of like all rules and all bets are off. I would say that in the 2020 election, Democrats did lose some seats in the House. But I'm also seeing this is the wounded warrior, but he's not so wounded that he's out of capacity. What this tells me is that he has patched himself up, looked at his options, taken a little bit of a rest, and he's ready to go out and fight again. And I feel as though this is where the Democrats are at. I missed it, but good old YouTube, I was able to see Stephen Colbert interviewing Nancy Pelosi. And she was saying, like, don't bet on the Republicans taking back the Congress. And I thought, well, playing devil's advocate, I could see that, of course, she's going to say that. But as soon as she said, when we realized, she said, as soon as those elections were over and we realized we had lost some seats, she said, we got right back to work when Congress reconvened to see what we could do to get more seats Democratic seats in the House of Representatives. And I pretty much believe her that that is something we see. That's the thing, we don't hear about that. But I am sure that they have been strategizing. They've licked their wounds, and now they are ready to move again. So the potential outcome, speaking of Nancy Pelosi, and this is what I love, the Queen of Rods. This is such a positive card. And I wasn't paying much attention when I put this spread down. Speaking of Nancy Pelosi, I've seen this card as, other people like, Letitia James, the New York Attorney General, and some other very powerful women, Liz Cheney, but this is Nancy Pelosi. And the important thing about this is that this woman is a mother, and she could be a grandmother too. She's very inspiring. She's got a spiritual side to her with a sunflower, and she does not give up very easily. As she may be lovely. Oh, hi, Susan. She may be very lovely and nurturing, but don't mess with her, as you could see in the tape when she said I loved it when she said, I could just punch Trump, I'd go to jail and be happy. And I was thinking, boy, if that is not the Queen of Rods, I do not know what is. So this is a very positive thing. And it's not only her, it's the women that are getting out there and registering to vote. And I think even the women like me that are older and past childbearing years, we have a memory of what life was like before R.V. Wade, with back alleys, and maybe with a little more money, you could go to some clandestine hotel suite in the plaza, or maybe even better, you could go to the UK. But we remember what it was like, and we do not want that inflicted on the younger generations. In fact, it would be even worse. So do not underestimate the power of women. I'm going to say this card makes me feel as though there were many back in January who had that knee-jerk reaction in the suburbs of the country club Republicans, knee-jerk reaction, they were going to vote for them. I would say that the June R.V. Wade overturn has made a lot of them think, and I would not be so sure of that vote. In fact, I think more of them are going to turn on that party than we realize. So I was thinking of maybe pulling extra cards to clarify that, but no, that really does say it. I think maybe I will just pull one more outcome card to see what is going on here. And so we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, which is a kind of an interesting card, because what I'm seeing here is that the comfortable woman who has made a nice life for herself in the material world and would probably vote for the economic lower tax for the rich interests of the Republican is pretty much turned on her ear by what she has seen. And this sort of follows up of leaving the comfort zone. And she may go into the voting booth or the mailbox holding her nose. But it looks to me that, women are just so really, really important in this. So I cannot stress enough that if you need to watch the news, that, there is a lot going on. And I do believe, because I've seen psychics on YouTube who someone called them the conspiracy theorist psychics who, they just don't watch the news at all. And maybe, in fact, take pride in it. But when it comes to this punditry, I would say you need to be very, very limited and watch that with a big grain of salt. And if you have to watch it, maybe be inspired to call a few friends and encourage them to vote. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. So the big thing in the news today is, so I'm going to say that it looks like, to conclude this part, it looks as though they're not paying the polls and all that. They're not paying attention to the early voting and the women coming out. I mean, Kansas should have been a real indication of, you need to throw the poll books away and think about it. If that wasn't the canary in the coal mine for a lot of the Republicans, I don't know what is. So I would say that there's a lot of things not being taken into consideration, but they've got their sponsors to, you know, to make happy. But I also believe that after these elections, when they've really been so wrong, that I feel as though that whole system may need an overhaul. I mean, we got to get beyond landline calls and old people. Okay, so this was really, really fast, but the Brits have picked their new prime minister, and I'm going to do a very quick read on that. He's 42-year-old Rishi Sunak, who I know absolutely nothing about, but then some of my Brit friends that are connected with Arthur Findlay and colleagues, who are progressives, absolutely despise him, and they just say it's just more of the same. But he's interesting because he is of East Indian origin, but he was born in the UK, has a British accent, he's very, very British, and he's the youngest prime minister in 200 years, I think. But he has only 7 years of experience in Parliament. And I mean, 7 years may say, that was the first time I went to Arthur Findlay, and it doesn't seem like that long ago. At any rate, that's not very long. To me, that just isn't very long. When you look at some of the others in, in our country, like Nancy Pelosi and, Mitch McConnell and all, and even, Chuck Schumer and all these other people, that's like being there yesterday. I was trying to pick up a vibe from him, and I'm kind of thinking those, he came on very presentable, but I'm kind of thinking those, if he doesn't toe the line, those people could absolutely have him for lunch. And as we all know from this country, that being of that origin and a person of color does not guarantee that you're going to be progressive and have people of color's interest at heart either, as we've seen with a few, everybody has, there's no perfect ethnic group or race, and there's like progressives and conservatives in all of them. So I'm saying that's no guarantee. And from the reactions and the vitriol that I saw from some of my British friends, they do not like him. They said there is nothing more to trim off of that budget. So I was seeing Christmas trees image and wondering, is he going to even make it to Christmas? Okay. Which is interesting. And that I'm really feeling as though they really may be forced to have an election, because according to what's the buzz going on over there, a lot of people are not, the conservative Tories are not working. So it seems to be that a lot of people want to have the Labor Party have another go of it. So let's see. I'm going to pick up 3 cards and see. And I'm asking the question, is this guy going to last? Okay, so we have this. Not surprising. We have this guy. 7 of rods. He's got a lot coming at him, but this is saying he's probably going to hold his own for a while anyway. And then we have the Six of Swords in reverse. It's like the UK is not going to move forward the way they want. I mean, they just go through these prime ministers and things only get worse. So we're not seeing the UK go into smoother waters. And that the swords in reverse is saying, because they are thoughts and communications, this whole thing has not been thought out very well. So it's going to be more of the same. And then we have this guy again here. We have our friend, the Nine of Rods, which is, I'm going to say, I'm feeling as though intuitively this character here is representative of the beating that the people in the UK have taken. But I'm going to say they're very resilient people, and they are coming back to fight another day. And I think there's going to be, I'm feeling like a lot of unrest with this. So I feel a need to pull a fourth card about that. So, okay, the Five of Swords is that, I would say if he tries to do things his own way and try something a little bit different, that he's going to be kind of left alone by the other conservatives. Because what this is telling me, which is interesting because I don't really know, I'm only kind of boning up on the British, parliamentary system and all of that goes on recently from the little I know. But I'm going to say I feel as though, and I got this with the age and all that sort of, and his inexperience. They made him the Minister of Finance. I just feel as though they may be trying to use him as a puppet to just kind of do what they want him to do and go along the party line, which is more of the same. So I'm going to say what these cards are telling me is that this is kind of a big no. Now, I don't know if he's going to be out quite as fast, but this is pretty much of a big no, that this guy is probably not going to last. I think he may put up a good fight, as in this one, but I think it's going to be very, very difficult. I think maybe if he had more experience, but I kind of think it's a shame because I feel I'm getting this vibe that they're using him, and he may have gotten into something that he didn't expect. I mean, there are other people that might say, "Oh, you could be surprised." But that's what future readings are for. I'm going to say, as it stands now, it isn't looking too good. And I will do one final question about there being a special election next year. What this tells me is that there are a number of things that have been building up for a while, kind of like one by one, that's leading to dissatisfaction. But there may be some planning from the labor people to pretty much get their coins in a row, or their ducks in a row, kind of let the Conservative Party mess up. And I know this guy said that there wouldn't be an election next year, but if I do a little bit more research, I think that I don't think he has the last word on that. So again, again, we have this card of trying to pull one over on the British people, and this just cannot. It just can't go on. It just can't go on, and the sadness, desolation, and looking at what hasn't worked in the past and trying to do it all over again and not moving on. So I'm feeling as though the hand would be forced, and the one final card would be the Devil The Devil in Reverse, which tells me that it's a card of addiction, codependence, which I would say is probably the British, a lot too many of the British people with this conservative government and Brexit. This card is in reverse. I'm going to say I feel as though the vast majority of people in the UK are pretty much going to be disillusioned and feel it's time to cut loose from the devil. They've been chained to the devil for too long. So that's it. That's what I've got for today. I will say that what I will be doing is because things are moving so fast in the news, instead of having one set time to do these lives, if I know earlier in the day, I'll try to give more notice. But I really am going to be popping on here quite a bit more often. I'm very busy right now with readings and things like that, but I will be making time to do these. So at any rate, thanks for you tuning in today. And I'm going to end this now, and then when it's all set and done, I will be posting this on Facebook. So I thank the few people that came. There's three more people than I thought would be coming. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the funny papers. Bye.